and welcome to Power of Attorney. I am your host, LeTonya Moore. Today, we are going to be talking about the top mistakes that collaborators make. There has been this huge push, collaboration over competition. And realistically, in business, this is how you grow and thrive. Competition is how you grow and thrive. But I understand that a lot of small businesses are looking to scale, and they're looking to scale very fast. One good way to do that is by collaboration. But here are some of the top mistakes that I want to caution you that lots of small business owners make. First, their objective is not clearly thought out. They're just looking to gain support. They're just looking to gain a little bit of market share, but they haven't thought everything out completely. They haven't planned for the exchange of intellectual property. They haven't planned for the exchange of who owns what, right? Whether it's intellectual property, whether it's information, data, all of those things. So that's always a big mistake, because what happens is once you grow, once the partnership or collaboration is thriving, oftentimes there's a conflict between the two parties, between the two businesses. Well, this is my list. This is, this is my graphic, or so on and so forth. And so you have to make sure that you clearly discuss those things up front. The other thing, almost never is there a non-disclosure agreement. When you first reach out to anyone, whether it's a collaborator, an investor, the first thing that you need to put in place is a non-disclosure agreement. Because one, what if they say no, right? So you have to make sure that you are protecting your rights up front, because when you don't do that, what you have essentially done was given free information to someone that you already know has the capacity and the capability to perform whatever those duties and responsibilities are that you're looking for. So you got to make sure that you have that non-disclosure agreement in place. The other thing too is you also want to make sure that you have all of your trademarks and copyrights or any other intellectual property. You want to make sure that you have those things accounted for and in place. Okay. You want to make sure that you have those things accounted for and in place. You want to make sure that at a minimum you have applied for those things, because those are going to be the things that protect your rights if unfortunately there's some type of litigation down the road. You have to show that these things were in place, or you had made attempts to put those things in place prior to the collaboration. The other thing too is you really need to understand strategically how to explain what you're doing, what your goals are, what your objectives are, without giving away too much. Oftentimes when we're trying to get people to collaborate with us, or we're trying to get people to work with us in some type of capacity, we tell them everything. We tell them who, what, when, where, how. Give them all the information up front. And then unfortunately what happens, that gives them all the information that they need to really just take your idea, right? And instead of collaborating with you, they can do it themselves because you've already given them the roadmap. That is what I see mostly in my practice. People will often say, well, this is what happened. I reached out to this person. This is what I sent them. Almost a prospectus. You never give that level of information really to anybody unless they're on your team already and there is a need to know. The next thing is failure to seek professional guidance. I know Google is your lawyer, but Google is not authorized to practice law. So you have to understand a lot of attorneys, a lot of business attorneys, a lot of business consultants that are well-versed, right, in these type of matters. They can give you advice, right, on how to do what you need to do, how to structure your conversation, what you need to share, what you don't need to share. It is well worth the consultation time. You don't have to retain a professional at that stage, but you definitely want to have a professional involved. You want to pay them for their time, right? And you want to make sure that you are well protected, right? You want to make sure that you have all the things that you need, and you're not giving away information that you don't need to give away, because oftentimes that's what happens, right? You say, well, this is what I need to share with them because I want them to do X, but then you've already shared about Y and Z and A, B, C, and D. Far, far, far too much information. So you want to make sure that you seek professional guidance before you go out giving information. Now, certainly it's your business, it's your brand. You can do what you want to do, but trust me when I say it is going to be far, far, far more expensive for you to be reactive after the fact, after they've commandeered your idea, after they've started to promote the event that you've wanted to do, after they've stolen your podcast concept and so on and so forth, right? It's going to be a lot more expensive than that 1, maybe 2 hours of consultation time that you have to pay a professional for. Very important. Lastly, by all means, make sure that you have the proper agreement in place. So if this is a collaborator, make sure that you have a collaboration agreement in place. Okay? Make sure that you have the proper documentation to support that whatever rights you're retaining, whatever they're bringing to the table, what they're doing. Is it sweat equity? Is it products? Is it services? What are those types of things? And you have to make sure that that's very detailed to lay out duties, responsibilities, ownership, non-ownership, licensing, things of that nature. I know it sounds like a lot, but believe it or not, you're doing this anyway, right? By sharing your information, by sharing your platform, by sharing access to your list, whatever those things are, you are already doing that. But you want to make sure to reduce it to the proper agreement so that you have something in place to protect your rights in the future. I want to thank you guys so much for joining me for the Power of Attorney podcast today. Please subscribe. We're on Spreaker, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, SoundCloud, YouTube, Amazon Fire TV. We're on so many platforms, too many to name. Also, connect with me at iprotectyourbrand.com. You can connect with me on Facebook, I Protect Your Brand with LeTonya Moore. Instagram at LeTonya Moore, Twitter at LeTonya Moore. Again, thank you guys so much. Until next time, have a great day.